We're going to be uploading this right afterwards as well. And yes, if you could turn, how's your coming in, if y'all could turn off your cameras just so it doesn't lag for everybody else. But we'll go ahead and get started. I might have, if you see me like looking back and forth, I have two screens in front of me, so I might be looking into letting more folks in while at the same time giving y'all the presentation about Tepati. So just as a, welcome everybody. Welcome to the first ever virtual informational Clinica Tepati Zoom informational, you could say. My name is Alfredo Lopez. I'm the executive administrator / clinical director at Tepati.
My name is Gustavo Jimenez. I'm the personnel manager for Clinica Tepati.
Yeah, so both of us are folks who are on board, who are leaders within Tepati, and we're really here to just give you an idea of who Tepati is, right? Like what is the work that we do, who are the patients that we see, why our work is important, and why you should definitely join our organization to continue doing the work that we do. Addressing pretty much everything with everything that's going on with the pandemic, with COVID-19. Tepati has also been having to go through some structural changes. We had to close our clinic due to the facilities that we were taking part of, but I'll go more into that, how it's going to affect folks who are coming in. So all of y'all, what that's going to look like, what it's going to look like moving forward. Once this is over, then what is going to be your roles within Tepati? But yeah, so we'll go ahead and get started. Sorry, I feel like I'm more nervous for like this Zoom informational than any of the other ones I've ever given. But let me give you a little bit of history of where Clinica Tepati started. So Clinica Tepati was founded in 1974 at the end of the Chicanx movement that happened during the 60s. Students from the UC Davis School of Medicine, the undergrads, physicians saw that there was a gap in healthcare access to the Latinx community that lived in the Sacramento area. So they joined together, they came up with an idea of, creating some sort of clinic, some sort of place where community members from the Sacramento area could get resources or healthcare access that was culturally humble and competent. So they came up with this idea of Clinica Tepati. And for folks that don't know, Tepati, it comes from a Nahuatl word, or the language of the Aztecs, meaning Tepatli, which means healer. So that's how the name Tepati came about. So, 46 years later, Clinica Tepati has been having their doors open, continuously helping our community better their health and their healthcare access. So Tepati was founded on a three-part mission of education, health services, and advocacy. And these are the three same pillars that continue to reinforce or stand what Clinica Tepati means today. So before anything, it's right education, giving our patients the health services. So giving our patients the health services that they need, while at the same time, the educational component, right? So as undergrads, medical students, professional students, since we also have and nurse practitioners, physician assistants that come out to help us, as well as our physicians, we all learn from one another. And it's this whole sense of community and mentorship that really unites us, right? We're all there with one common purpose of helping our community, of wanting to make that change for our community. And that's really what unites us. At the end of the day, where we're in there, we're one team. I like to think of us as, we're there for one reason, and that is to help our patients. And that is the idea of that everybody comes in with, right? And then our last pillar is advocacy, right? One is within our clinic doors, advocating for our patients, being the advocate of, going above and beyond, being cultural interpreters of, not just languages, but, who they are in essence. We look way beyond just who they are there, just looking for their healthcare services, right? Their health should be intersectional, just as their lives are. So we look at social services. We have health educational services, mental health. We have legal aid. And I'll go more in the holistic approach that we take into Tepati. But we also have made strides to take advocacy out of their clinic roles, right? So now we've been looking into going into public policy and working with legislators in our state capital to get more services for our community. Working within the census outreach programs to be able to give our community a bigger voice. So those are just some of the things that we do at the Pati. I could go on and on, like make this a 3-hour information about just some of the work that we do, but obviously we're even reduced to just 40 minutes. So that's just, a little bit about Tepati from my perspective, but I wanted to give you also the perspective of one of our patients. Let's see if this works. Let me know if you hear the sound.
Estoy muy agradecido yo con el personal de
Can hear.
Tepati. Son muy gentes muy respetuosas, profesionales más que nada. Y gracias a ellos me he mantenido el control de mi diabetes bien, me han tratado bien, lo excelente, los doctores, los estudiantes, todo. Me siento como en casa. Y siempre que me siento mal vengo con ellos me ayudan. Y estoy muy agradecido con Tepati y adelante.
Yeah, so a lot of our patients have been coming in for a really long time. I know I'm not too familiar with this patient, but I know there's patients who have been there since I was the first year, and that was 5 years ago, right? I came in, as a lot of y'all will be coming in as an intaker. I actually joined spring of 2016. So yeah, so now it's been about 4 years. Yeah, about to go into my 5th year. So we've been here for a minute. And now as the executive administrator, not only have I've been able to see the progression of how many of our patients their health has been improving, but many of my patients have seen, how we advance as students as well, right? How we started out as first years and now we're about to graduate. And even then afterwards, right? Like when they come back as medical students, all our patients are super proud and they really become part of the community. So I'll go more into detail about how amazing our patients are later, but I'll go ahead and give the floor to Gustavo so he can talk about some of the preliminary requirements of Tepati.
Okay, so in order to apply, you need to be a registered undergraduate with any major, doesn't matter what major you're a part of. You must be in good academic standing. You must also be able to train on April 18th or April 25th. Depending on the current circumstances, that might change. But you must also be able to work in a professional setting. You must not volunteer in any other student-run clinic, and you must be able to participate in committee work. But due to the pandemic, right, we will be doing virtual committee work, and the requirement that used to be for 3 Saturdays, a minimum of 3 Saturdays, depending on the committee, that will not be a part of right now due to the current circumstances of the pandemic. But for the next slide, that shows a little picture on Oasis that it shows that you're in good academic standing. So later on, you'll be able to sign up for a interview. So once you sign up into the interview, you're going to be showing your group leader that you're in good academic standing. So currently, clinic is located on 1820 J Street in downtown Sacramento. Like Alfredo was saying, we currently use wall space clinic on the weekends, just on Saturdays. So many of us, the way we get there is that we do a carpool dock. So many of us sign up there who have cars, and many of us text each other or call to get a ride there. So you don't have to worry about if in order to get to clinic. Many of us are happy to take you to clinic either way. And right now, Alfredo will be going to be talking about the clinic structure.
Yeah, so sorry, this meeting is maxed out at 100. So there's some folks that weren't able to make it in. So if you were, congratulations, you made it in. But don't worry, this will be recorded. So let your folks know that if they're interested in still applying to Tepati, this information is going to be available at the end. So the reason why we make this this informational mandatories, because at the end, I'll be providing y'all with a link where y'all be able to sign up for your interview. And then there's more information about the interview later on. So yeah, so our clinic is located in Midtown Sacramento. Pretty much what our typical clinic structure looks like on a typical Saturday, right? So when y'all see, I would have a pointer so I could point a little bit better, but I think, does this work? Like my mouse, right? Does it work, Gustavo?
Yeah, it works. It
Okay,
works.
awesome. This is even better. Um, so pretty much like, let me start from the beginning to the top, right? From the bottom to the top. So down here where we have our intakers. So when you start into Tepati, this is the position that you're all are going to be training in HAS, right? So the intakers are pretty much the backbone of our clinic, and we'll go more into a little bit of the positions. So you start off as an intaker, and then you'll have the ability to be able to train into different positions, so such as reception or lab. If you, depending on the committee that you're assigned, we'll go into committees a little bit later, you'll be also having a specific structure or a specific role within the clinic Saturday. So this is the division that is encompassed by all of our undergraduate students. Then it's also divided by our professional students, dividing within the co-Ds and our officers. And we'll go a little bit more into not so much detail, since this is not so much related to undergrads. But these are the folks, these are the medical students, professional students that are going to be, that see our patients. We also have our monitor and our floater. These are both undergrads who have been in clinic for a while, really know the structure of the Tepati, oversee the whole deal, the whole clinic Saturday, right? So we pretty much are, in the words of like, you know, in like the business, like we're the manager and the system manager, and really answer the questions, make sure that our clinic is structured very properly. And then we also have our medical director who works with the preceptors. I work very closely with the preceptors as well, but within a Saturday, this is what it looks like. So our preceptors, right? Like some of our, I could say so many great things about our preceptor. In her picture, we have Joni Borbon. She's one of the best doctors I've ever met, a great mentor, great person, who I've had the privilege to work with these last couple of weeks, or at least last couple of years. All of these physicians are super passionate about the work that we do. She, along with another of his physicians, Dr. Durston, they come in practically every single weekend just to see our patients. They love the work that we do because it's very unique, right? Like that's one thing about Clinica Tepati, the work that we're able to provide, the type of services are very unique in that they just practice the medicine, right? Like they don't have to worry about billing. They don't have to worry about charting, like all those different things that really take, how they explained it, to take the fun out of medicine, right? And you know, those are coming from their words and their perspective of why they're still in Tepati and why they love this organization so much. We also have our medical students or co-directors. So we have folks from both the UC Davis School of Med and California Northern State University, which is in Elk Grove. We're the only student-run clinic that has students from CNU. They are all amazing. They're all medical students. Now we're starting to get pharmacy students also from CNU that are coming in. So these are some of our co-directors. And then we also have co-directors from UC Davis. So it might look like we're biased because, you know, there's a very big difference between these two pictures, but we love them both equally. They both put in the same amount of work. It's just that they have budget for a photographer that they all pitched in, and our homeboys just used an iPhone camera. But I'll just go ahead and let Gustavo talk about, you know, us.
So for the undergraduates, right, which is technically, you know, all of us, to be honest, I love every single one of these, you know, people. They all bring, you know, charisma and like so much enthusiasm like into clinic. And we're roughly around 80 undergraduate volunteers, you know, as well as, you know, how Alfredo said, you know, we have the UC Davis and CNU professional students. Currently, we have around about 25 undergrads, you know, on per clinic Saturday, but Alfredo's kind of like working into like, you know, increasing the number just so we can see how, you know, the flow of clinic, you know, can improve. But to be honest, you get really, really great, you know, experience and connections between, you know, the professional students and the preceptors, you know, they mentor a lot of us. They're, you know, really great individuals, just how, you know, Alfredo, you know, said earlier. But as Alfredo was kind of saying, you know, for intakers, that's the very first position that we start off, you know, the newbies, the blueberries. So you can change the slide.
Yeah.
Thank you. So like when you start off in clinic, you know, this is the first position that you start off with, and you're responsible for taking vitals such as like heart rate, respiratory rate, blood pressure, and, you know, temperature. You also have the, you know, opportunity in shadowing and scribing. We are, I think, one of the only clinics that offers scribing. So we do have a scribing protocol. You need to pass the test before you start scribing, but it is a really great experience, you know, for us as undergraduates. Also, we also have the ability to, if you're a Spanish speaker, to interpret for our patients. You won't be in a disadvantage if you can't interpret or if you can't speak Spanish. So, you know, don't worry about that as an applicant. But you also just help with anything, you know, that clinic needs during the day. For reception, so after you complete the Saturdays that you need for training for intake, you're able to train for reception or either lab. So in reception, you are the first encounter for the patient, as it kind of entails you are working as, you know, as a receptionist. But I'm currently getting trained for that position. You know, I love it just because, you know, everybody comes in, they literally wait outside the door before we open. And they come in and they just tell us about how their day's going, and like what, you know, you kind of see the process from them getting their help and like from them leaving just with a smile on the face. But you know, besides going into reception. Oh, okay. Oh, well, for lab, you know, we prepare labs. We prepare labs and just like administer house tests. You know, we do help with the collection of storage and transportation of these samples. And well, once you actually train for intake, reception, and lab, you will be able to work as a floater or a monitor, which Alfredo will be talking about right now.
This thing is not going through. All right. So with monitors and floaters, there's no slide for floaters since they do very similar things. So as I was mentioning, we oversee the whole operation of Tepati, right, of a given Saturday. So there's six monitors that are currently take care of or would take care of Tepati. We're now doing telehealth, so we're switching to a new structure that we are getting accustomed to as monitors. So we oversee making sure that everybody's getting seen in a very timely manner. We answer any questions for patients, undergrads, medical students, preceptors, any other professionals that come in. We give tours to folks that come in from the community. We are a community clinic, so we welcome anybody that's coming in to ask questions. That's what we are here for. We assure that patients are being followed up, scheduled, and constantly contacted. So we make sure that, you know, that everything is running smoothly. We make sure that, you know, our patients are being seen, that we're not forgetting anybody. We're there for quality assurance. We're there for movement of patients. And we're practically the ones that open the clinic and close the clinic every single day. We're the first ones that are there and the last ones to leave. So we're there as early as 6 in the morning and can leave as late as 7 p.m. But, you know, as an intaker, you know, you're required to be there by 6:55 until the end of the day. So once you're trained, if you have the opportunity to become a monitor or a floater, you know, that's what our typical Saturday for a monitor looks like. So this is yours, right, Gustavo?
Yeah. So we currently have 6 committees. I'll be talking about 3, that being publicity and event planning. So the publicity and event planning, they kind of just organize, you know, just some events such as the annual banquet, recruitment events, and fundraisers. Then we also have medical records and tech, which create the annual report, you know, help transfer medical records operated, you know, on the websites that we currently use. And they also oversee our social media accounts. And then we also have a mental health committee, which is, I think, the newest one that we currently have. they're in charge of tracking patients, mental health, bringing awareness to mental health issues in our community. And then Alfredo will be talking about the last three committees.
Yeah, so when you get into the Tepati, you'll have the opportunity to choose one of these 6 committees to do work in. So that doesn't mean you can't, you know, engage and work with other committees, but in the committee that you're assigned to, that's the commitment that you have to, like the minimum commitment that you have to put in, right? Like the work that you have to do for that committee, that's the requirement that we have like on a weekly basis. If you want to do more on top of that, you know, go for it. We're not going to tell you no. But some of the other committees that we have are health education. So this is a committee that meets one-on-one with our patients. This is one of the closest that you have the most a lot of interactions within clinic with patients. You work with them to work with making lifestyle changes in their nutrition, within exercise, within mental health, right? We also have referrals. So apart from being a primary care clinic, there's services that we're not able to offer within our space. So we refer our patients to other partners that we have within Sacramento. So with referrals, they're the ones that work with the patients, making sure that they have everything that they need to be able to go to their referrals, follow up on any surgeries or any services that they got. This is a great, because you know you get to see some patients from like the beginning of when you saw them in clinic all the way to when they got the surgery. I just heard from one of our patients who was able to get a surgery um, for a cataract, and you know he was already going blind in one eye and he's able to see again, and he was just explaining how grateful he was for Tepati, for the folks that helped him out, because all of our referrals either come at a low or like no cost. If they do come up for a cost, we do our best to help out the patients. We try to like minimize the amount of cost that our patients have to put out of their pocket, because we understand that these are folks who are uninsured. They don't have, a lot of them don't have the capacity to be able to spend thousands of dollars of like, you know, for their own healthcare, because at the end of the day, like they would rather put that money to have food on the table. So at the Pati, we try to help them out as much as possible. We also have pharmacy who helps us out with, you know, dispensing in-house medications, connecting patients to cheap medications, helping them out with patient assistance programs. So if there's a medication that's really expensive, and some pharmaceutical companies as having, you know, some pharmaceutical companies have programs that give these medications out for free to patients, you know, we help them and assist them with that. So, you know, it gives you a little bit of idea of, you know, kind of the committee that you know, what each committee does, but it's not till later that you get to choose which committee you want to be participate in. But this is more just an introduction to them. So also some of our specialty services I was mentioning, we don't, you know, apart from providing primary care, there's other things that we try to provide to really give a holistic sense of healthcare to our patients. So we have podiatry that comes in from the Bay Area. We have CalFresh programs. We have legal aid partners with the California Rural Legal Assistance Foundation, also in Sacramento. We have services for ophthalmology, giving screenings of diabetic retinopathy. We have an endocrinology clinic. And then we also have special projects throughout the day that some of our undergrads and professional students collaborate on. So we have a mammogram bus that we were going to have in Bay, but due to the circumstances, we're gonna have to postpone it until October. And really, it gives you the ability to, like, the party gives you the ability to really, like, you know, if you have a vision of something that you want to do, something that we don't already have, like, you know, we'll give you the tools, we'll give you the, you know, the guidance to be able to do it as well. We also have classes for specific services such as Know Your Rights. I remember this was one of the classes that I first gave out when I first got into Tepati back when I was a first year. We have classes for Alzheimer's. We have fitness classes that we give to our patients. We also had a self-defense class tying in with this fitness class. And then we also have diabetes interest groups. We have nutritionists from the community that come in and educate our patients within a community setting about their nutrition, about ways to improving it and such.
So normally what Tepati asks for quarterly is that you do need to participate in 3 Saturdays per quarter. Some committees ask you to come in for a 4th Saturday. That being, some for referrals, for health education, and other committees a part of that. We do require you to go to 1 social event, 1 fundraiser, 4 hours of community service, the committee work, kind of like how we've been talking about, and that you need to attend mandatory meetings such as recruitment and attend Monday night class. For your first quarter, you do need to participate in Monday night class, which is typically Monday at 6 p.m. Later on, that can be kind of like changed later on, but typically every time that we have is that we have Monday night class at 6 p.m. technically.
Yeah,
But
and just to add, given the current circumstances, a lot of these are going to be omitted. So a lot of the events are omitted. I mean, the requirements of like the social fundraiser, community service, those are all omitted. The 3 Saturdays, we're not going to require anybody to be Tepati. One, we're currently closed. If we're open during the quarter, then we'll give people the opportunity to come in on a volunteer basis. But we're not going to require anybody that like to come in given the circumstances. And then the only one thing is we do require folks to attend our Monday night class. So when you come in, you're not just joining an organization, you're joining a whole familia, right? You're joining a whole family at Tepati. So, we want to get to know you at our Monday night class. This is the one time where we're all together, or the majority of the folks that are able to attend. But the majority of us are together. We get to know a little bit about you, or we get just to see our faces. Now it's through Zoom, so it's a little bit different. But it gives you, it keeps us connected, right? So we do still require, we'll require you offer to still attend Monday night class. And for recruitment, once we do summer recruitment, that's, if we are going to be doing that, we're also going to be requiring that. But just know that we're being flexible with our members. We understand that, given the current situation, that things are very different for everybody. So we'll work with you with whatever your circumstances are.
So yeah, kind of like how Alfredo said, a lot of the requirements that we have for each quarterly are, not going to be mandatory. The only things that we do need mandatory is committee work. So now a lot of the committee work is going to be virtual, and just technically the Monday night class and just participating in meetings and trainings. Kind of like how Alfredo said, if clinic reopens, we will be on a volunteer basis. You'll probably be hearing from me or Alfredo through the emails.
Yes. And once if you get in, just expect a ton of emails.
Yeah.
From practically everybody on board. You'll get a lot from Gustavo. You'll get a lot from our training folks on the training ends, from our co-eds. You'll get a ton of emails from me. So yeah, just we also expect you to be looking through those as much as you can.
So to answer Jennifer's question, depending on the training, it will probably be via Zoom, but there'll be one training, kind of like an orientation if you get in. The training will probably be later on if clinic does reopen. You'll probably be getting an email from me or our clinical lab skills, which is Joanna. So we'll probably send you emails later on how training will be set placed. But for the requirements, we do need you to get medically cleared by ECD, student health counseling, which kind of just includes like, them checking your immunization records, that includes the varicella vaccine, MMR, flu shot, TB test. We do encourage you to do a quantiferin titer TB test just because it is faster, and you don't have to go again and then show them your arm. You also need to complete a HIPAA privacy security training, and you would also need to pay a fee for the scrubs and lanyards. We can talk about that later once you're in the orientation and the training. It's not that big of a fee also.
And these requirements are for when you step into clinic. So all of it has to be done when you step into the actual clinic itself. And then you could use your own insurance for getting all of this done. So as long as you just show us proof that you got it done, that's all that
Mhm.
matters. Except for I believe, uh, actually, don't quote me on this, but I believe for getting cleared for the UC Davis Health and Counseling Services, you do have to get cleared through them just by uploading your all your
I
vaccines
mean,
and things like that.
yeah,
Have a correct
you
me?
can do it. If not, if you have any questions, you can always email me and I can like walk you through it. But to answer another question, what's the other question? There's another one.
So if you got them done before, do you need to do them again? I believe, Gustavo, do you know?
Just the flu shot, technically.
Flu shot?
You're just gonna have to be doing the flu shot.
And the
But if all your vaccines are up to date, you'll be fine. Just the flu shot and probably the TB test also.
cool. So, just moving forward, since I think we only have 5 minutes left. So what does the application process look like, right? So if you haven't had an access to accessing the written application, it's on our website, clinicatepati.com. You could access it on there. It is due on this upcoming Tuesday at 11:59. Again, with no exceptions, we're giving folks a 2 hour, like a 2 day period of them accessing this presentation to be able to upload their application. From there, we'll go into the virtual panel interview. So these are going to be taking place through Zoom on this upcoming Friday. So you will not be interviewed by somebody that you know. Spanish and non-Spanish interpreters will be assessed equally, and you'll be expected to be dressed professionally. And again, these will be interviews will be held through Zoom. So if you get through, you will be notified about the written application latest by Thursday if you made it through to the virtual panel, and then we'll give you more instructions about the virtual panel if if you pass the written application. So depending on our accessibility and how we're working with technology, we might be able to do multiple mini interviews. So within day before, when in person, we had MMIs where you would go to different rooms, answer questions. It would be a really more of a this is something that different medical schools do um,
Mm.
throughout the country. Uh, so it's like multiple many little interviews with different questions in each one. We're still trying to figure out the technology. We might have, but we might not. But regardless, if we do, it's going to be on Monday, April 13th, later in the evening. And then same thing on Friday. It's going to be the interviews will take place anywhere between 6 to 10 p.m. You'll be able to sign up for them at the end when I give you all the link. So what I mean by professional dress, right? So uh, practically what I'm wearing and what Gustavo is wearing wouldn't really count as professional dressing.
No, I wouldn't.
Uh, you know, we're just like if you just put on a button up with a tie, that's fine. Any of these folks are professionally dressed in the circumstances. Given the current circumstances, we will also accept this. So if you're just dressed from the bottom up, that's totally okay with us. We will not know if the person is interviewing asks you what are you wearing sweats, that's not part of the interview. So this is totally fine as well, but we just do expect you to come in with professional clothing, at least from the top of what we can see on the screen.
So again, the deadline submission is 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, April 7th. No exceptions.
And then for y'all to be able to sign up for the interview, for the interview, if you want to take a picture of this, go for it. It's probably going to be better since we're about to, we're going to have to close the thing within the next minute, or it's going to sign us off. So just take a picture of it. You can sign up later on. If you have any questions, I'll go back a little bit later after this, but if you have any questions, our emails are going to be right here, and also on the Clinica Tepati page. My email is alalopez@ucdavis.edu, Gustavo's GA Jimenez@ucdavis.edu.
Oh,
I'll go.
Bianca's saying
Let's see. Well, we have 20 seconds left. Gustavo, sorry, like you told, you lagged at the end, so no te escuché. Sorry.
Minutes right now since you upgraded.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't pay for that.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
it's all good. It's all good.
wait, so we have, okay, this is perfect. So go ahead and, take a picture of
Yeah.
this, and then we'll have time to answer questions at the end. That's what the one thing that I didn't think we were gonna be able to do. So go ahead and take a picture of this. You could sign up later for your interview slots. And then, yeah, we'll go ahead and answer any questions that you have. Thank y'all for, being patient and being flexible with us. This is all new to us as well. We're all adjusting. So we'll go ahead and let me see what are some questions that we have. So yes, this will be recorded and uploaded. Training will take virtually. I think you already answered that, Gustavo. If you're not in
So
Dave,
do we get an email confirmation for the submission of our application? I'm not sure if we actually do we get an email confirmation? I don't think we do, right?
I don't.
From the application?
No, but as long
No, if you
as long as it submits a
no, you can go ahead. Go.
you could send us an email and then we could just double check with you. But I'm not 100%.
Yeah. I would say you can sign up for the interview now. We are still going to be checking the applications. So, just so we can, save yourself a time slot, like at the time that, that you prefer. If you're not currently in Davis, it's fine, due to the current circumstances. So, I would still tell you to apply.
Definitely. We're going to be working, a lot of this is going to be virtual. We're not requiring anybody to come in. So please apply.
And we're not going to make you, like how Alfredo said, go to clinic if it reopens, if you're not feeling comfortable.
And then, is there a minimum number of quarters we must commit to? So once you're in Tepati, you're in it until you graduate. With it, whether if you get in the fall or the spring, if you apply during the summer, your only time commitment is within the summer, either summer session 1 or summer session 2, depending what you signed up for. But if you get in the fall or the spring, you're expected to be in Tepati until you graduate. You're able to take quarters off, but we're really flexible in the requirements. A lot of the folks within Tepati have other jobs, have multiple jobs, have other internships, have other lab things that they're also doing. So if your time commitment is something that is worrying to you, just know that it's flexible as long as you have time management skills that you're able to attribute to it.
So depending on if you're a junior, freshman, or senior, that does not affect your application, how it's viewed. So, don't worry about that. So you're automatically selected for the interview after the written app. No, so you have to submit the application and then sign up for your interview. Or you can sign up for your interview and then submit your application after.
There's a question. So do you automatically get selected for the interview after the written app? So we'll contact you whether or not you move on to the interview. But we just ask folks to sign up for an interview now. That way we're able to schedule you in if you make it through the written application. And do you take into account the time applies you applied to Tepati in the past? We definitely do look into that. If we see that, if this is your 4th time applying, that means you really want to get into our clinic. And we know we see that, right? Like one of the things that I often hear is that Tepati is one of the hardest clinics to get into. And, the really biggest thing is, we try to see what the fit is, right? Like the interviews, I think that's one of the other things I wanted to mention is don't be intimidated about the interviewers. We're all undergrads. We really just want to get to know you. We want to see whether there's like, you know, the fit within our clinic with who you stand, and, you know, likewise with who you are, if you fit with our clinic, if our clinic fits with you. So that's really what the interview is. Yeah. If you're graduating this quarter, please apply. I know I've met great folks who were only in Tepati for a quarter, and they were able to do some amazing things.
Yeah, don't get discouraged. Is there a probationary period that new volunteers have to go through before they're able to be considered a permanent clinic volunteer? I would say the only thing would be that you need to attend Monday night class. I think that's a for sure thing that we need you to be doing. Everything besides that, everybody does it. You know, everybody does their committee work. Everybody does the fundraisers. Everybody does that. But you just need to fulfill all of the requirements.
Yeah. So when you first come in, you are on probation for 2 quarters. So as Gustavo was mentioning, you're attending Monday night class, doing all your committee work. If you don't aren't able to do that, and aren't able to tell us, uh, like kind of give us a valid reason, then we'll have to enforce, some more things. But we go into that more into the training. That has never been the case with any of our volunteers. When you come in, a lot of our volunteers are so passionate about, the work that we do, that they just are down to do it.
How many students do you guys accept each quarter? It varies a lot. It all depends on each quarter, but I wouldn't be able to give you a number at this time.
Yeah, so that's something that Gustavo and I discuss later on in the process. And we don't give that number out since, again, it varies time to time, from quarter to quarter. Ask us about our weekly schedule. Do you guys want times with the classes and extracurriculars? Yes, please do. We just want to see what other things that you're currently involved with, what you're working in. So anything that, that's structural in your schedule that you have to commit to every single week, please do include it. And if you select no for being in the Sacramento area, is it still considered? Yes, it is still considered. We just want to know whether, like, how many folks are within the area, just for our background knowledge. How long are Monday night classes? 1 hour or 50 minutes, 6 to 7.
Yeah.
Oh, so I think this was one of the great questions brought up by Megan. If you have class during the time of Monday night class, is there an alternative option? So one of the reasons why we have Monday night classes, or one of the reasons why during the quarter we would have this informational at 6 p.m. on Mondays, is because that's when we have our Monday night class in the day. So the reason why we have it at that time is that we want to make sure that your schedule, that you're able to attend the Monday night class at 6 p.m. Every single Monday, because again, it's part of the process of, you learning about the Tepati, us learning about you becoming part of the clinic, the clinic family. So if you do have class during like from 6 to 7 p.m. on Mondays, I do apologize, but we won't be able to take you, like, consider you, since we do require for you to attend Monday night class. But if once the fall comes around, just take that into consideration when you're making your fall schedule, that block out that 6 to 7 time. It's just part of our policy, because we really want to be able to integrate you with the Tepati, with our patients, with the whole family. Yeah. Thank you, Megan, for bringing that up.
Are the interviews with one person, or would it be a group? It's going to be a group for the interviews. For the MMIs, it's usually 1 or 2 persons, but like Alfredo said, that's still up in the air. Immunization records are turned in after you get selected, or during the applications. After, once you get the email from one of us that that you got accepted into clinic, you'll get a flood of emails, of a lot of emails saying you have to do this and that being one of them, the immunization records. And our MMI is online this time. We don't know yet how we're going to do the MMIs, just how Alfredo said. But once we know, we'll let you know if you get into the second part.
But if we do have them, they will be through
through
Zoom or some sort of thing that we'll figure out. Just because they're a little bit more complicated than just a virtual panel.
Yeah, we'll keep you in the loop. Don't worry.
Yeah, please send us any other questions that you have, like as you're processing after this. What if you don't have professional wear? Email us. Email us. We'll be flexible.
Yeah, emails.
Just let us know. Our emails are right there. Feel free to send either of us an email. Send Clinica Tepati 74 at Gmail. The ones that have been on the flyers, send us any of us an email. We'll be sure to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other questions? The chat. Any other questions that we didn't answer? Because a lot of them came in.
Yeah, there was a lot of questions.
No? Okay.
Okay. I think we're good.
Again, just summarizing, I'll be uploading these right afterwards. I'll be putting them on our YouTube page. So if you want to go to YouTube just to re-see the whole presentation again, if you didn't get the link, it'll be on there. So please expect it. If you have other folks that weren't able to make it into the 100 participant gap, let them know that it's also on there and refer them to it. But yeah, I think, can you repeat that? So with MMIs, we're currently working with the structure. If we do have them, they are going to be virtual. And the interview is going to be Friday, Monday the 10th. That one is going to happen. That one's with grads in a panel. And that's this Friday. Yeah. But other than that, Gustavo, do you have any other things that I missed?
I'll be asking the person who's in charge of the the social media just to post the YouTube video. I'll be posting this also, but just keep an eye out on this and tell your friends about the video so you guys can sign up for the interview. But thank you for tuning in. Hopefully this wasn't too bad, but those.
Yeah. So one more.
We're looking forward to seeing you.
So yeah. So there was one last question from Jennifer. The interviews are going to be this upcoming Friday.
Viernes.
Viernes. If we have MMIs, those are going to be that following Monday. So there's two possible two different interviews. One on Friday and one on Monday. The one that will for sure be happening are the ones on Friday and Monday. And that's it. But with that, thank you all. If you have any other questions, how you're processing the information, please let us know. Thank you for your flexibility. I know that with the current situation, there's a lot of uncertainty with everything that we are doing. So please continue, following the same, pillars that we follow at Tepati, educating your community, advocating for your community, educating those around you about the current pandemic, and really reduce the panic, right? Because when we all panic, that's never good. So thank you all. I look forward to reading all of your applications, getting to know our new Tepatistas, even if it's just virtual. I look forward to meeting all of y'all. So have a great rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your day, and stay healthy. And just have a good one, y'all.
Okay, bye. Cuídense. Hasta luego.